Hello everyone, this is Scott with Hi-Lux Optics. Today I wanted to talk you all through mounting another of our vintage reproduction scopes onto a vintage rifle. Today we'll be mounting on the Winchester 92-94 with our special no machining mount built to put a scope like this on a rifle like this without you having to drill through this beautiful finish. Now I was a little overeager when this rifle first came in, and I went ahead and got the scope mounted up without really taking the time to do one of these videos beforehand. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it off to show you all how to mount it back up, which, if you think about it, is really just another excuse to go ahead and take this back to the range and get it zeroed. And I'm definitely willing to take any opportunity to shoot this gun just a little more often. Speaking of, if you happen to know where some primers can be found nowadays, you go ahead and drop me a call. Our Winchester 92-94 mount offsets the scope to the left, keeping it out of the way of the ejector. Let me go ahead, clear that out. Now let me go ahead and speed up the video real quick. I'm going to go ahead and finish taking this mount off, and then we'll go ahead and put it right back on. And trust me, it's not going to take that much time. Speeding it up now. And that does it, folks. Now we've got it fully off, and I can show you where it is that this will be mounting up. First things first, we're going to need this dovetail here just before the receiver. That is typically going to have some sort of sight installed in it, so you'll most likely have to hammer it out of the way after loosening up whatever set screws right in the center. I don't have your rifle in my hand, so I can't exactly say what's there, but I trust you'll know what to do with it. Back here on the receiver on the left side, we've got these two screws that can be removed. For ours, they were just plug screws. I don't really think they served much of a purpose. And anyway, the screws from our mount will go ahead and take up those positions. If you are using some screws at home, maybe you lost the ones that came with the kit, please make sure that the screws are not too long. They're going to prevent this from moving back when it should. But let's go ahead and put these on. Now, I'm going to keep this facing towards you guys, so I might fumble around a little bit. This is out of my field of view. We'll start back here. That will line up with those two holes, and I hope it's showing. I hope I'm lining it up properly. Let's go ahead and put these in. Oh goodness. Okay, I'm going to have to turn these towards me just a little bit more. There we are. Now, I don't want to make y'all sit through me threading in all these screws, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed through these portions. Let's start now. Well, that's about it, folks. That's as complicated as the rear mount is going to get, so let's go ahead and jump right on to the front mount. The front mount comes in two pieces. Let's get the screws out of there. So this is the dovetail block. This is what's going to be replacing that slot where that sight had been just previously that you've hopefully knocked out by now. It seems a little loose at first, but when you tighten the center screw, it forces the dovetail block up into the dovetail cut. That friction prevents it from moving left-right, which is a pretty unlikely movement considering the direction of recoil. The recoil itself is handled by the shape of the cut. The back and the front walls keep the dovetail block from moving forward and back. And once you have it forced up, there won't be any more wiggle room. So let's go ahead and visually center this, and then we'll go ahead and tighten up the center screw. And it's quick enough that I'm probably not even going to fast forward through this portion of the video. Okay, maybe, I'm thinking about it. Now that that's centered, tighten it up, and it seems pretty stable to me. Next step, we're going to put this strange looking block on there. This completes the offset, holding on to the dovetail block up here and moving the scope off to the side, just in line with that. I'm trying to get my fingers out of the way here. You can see the two holes on the sides. Those line up with the two holes on the sides of the dovetail block. When you tighten these two screws into there, it pulls this front mount down up against the dovetail block very securely, tightening it down even further. So let's go ahead and do that. And this one I will go ahead and speed on through. Well, there's that, folks. Everything from here on out is just going to involve me putting the scope back onto these blocks, getting my eye relief set, and then scheduling time to go ahead and take it back out to the range. So if you already know how to mount your scope from here and you're going to be closing out of the video, I guess I'll say I hope you all have fun. Let us know what interesting targets you've been shooting at, and once again, if you know a place where I can get some large rifle primers, you give me a call. We're going to continue on by mounting up this 6-power 18-inch Malcolm scope. This is a replica of the A5 style of scopes you might be familiar with. This particular scope uses a posa-cut cross bolt. That's why these are a little more square cut than the crescent cuts. So aside from that, there's nothing particularly unusual about putting these rings on, so I'm just going to go ahead and get to it. The first step is to loosen up this locking collar here at the front ring. This prevents the scope from sliding, so while this is engaged, we can't change the position of the front mount at all. The rear ring, that's not tying anything down, and it doesn't handle the recoil. So when we're setting our eye relief, this isn't really as much of a concern, but this needs to be loose. Let's go ahead. There we go. Now the front ring can move as well. I'm going to go ahead and let's see if you can see that on camera. Now the rear ring. I'd recommend that you wiggle it a little bit when setting it in. That way you can be sure that the cross bolt is settling deeply into that cut. For the front ring, that's a little more difficult to do because the curve may make larger fingers a little difficult to fit. For that, I'm going to go ahead and use this nifty little screwdriver and wiggle it just the same. Okay, that's feeling good. Go back and tighten this. That's feeling good. Now, it's still loose. I can set the eye relief, and I can turn this to level the reticle. Let's go ahead and get that done. Like I mentioned before, this is going to offset it to the left a little bit, which, if you're willing to hold your head a little more upright, it's probably easier to maintain a cheek weld when this much of an offset is in play. Let me go ahead and get that lined up. Okay. I think that's about ready then. The last remaining step, of course, is to tighten this ring back in place so the scope doesn't creep on me. This particular ring only needs to be tightened up to about finger tight. I'd say about 3 to 5 inch-pounds. There you go. And just to double check, seems like it's in about the right spot. So there you have it. Winchester 94, utilizing the Winchester 92-94 mount and a 6-power Malcolm A5 replica. Now I pretty much have to take this back out to the range and get it zeroed because I definitely moved it. Anyway, I hope you all have fun zeroing your rifles and scopes, and If you got an interesting one, go ahead and give me a call and let me know what the heck you've been shooting at. Take it easy.